Good evening, everybody. This is Sweat, and it's Monday, so it's time for another Military Monday. And once again, we have your questions. This is primarily from the last YouTube video. I've got your messages that you guys think I should primarily get those questions. I'm not going to leave Facebook and Twitter out, but this week it's mostly from YouTube. And let's go ahead and get started. And the very first question was, how did you pick your MOS? I picked my MOS by initially picking infantry, deciding that I maybe wanted to pick something that might have a career outside of the Marine Corps if I chose that route. I decided on aviation support and an aviation ordnance, and I got put into the crash fire rescue field. And they asked, did it just kind of fall into your lap, or was it something you wanted from the start? The actual MOS, the actual job of crash fire rescue, was something they just kind of handed to me. Again, I picked aviation ordnance in the aviation support field, and when I got to boot camp, they go through a line one day and say what your MOS is, and yeah, my MOS was 7051, and that's not what it was supposed to be when I signed up, or that's not initially what I thought it was. So I guess it did kind of fall in my lap, or I just kind of placed in its lap. I think it was because of the ASVAB scores. I did pretty well on ASVAB scores, and as I understand, I think that's one of the scores, or one of the MOSs where they require a pretty good score. So. And he also asked, how did you leave the Marines? Basically, after the end of my 4 years, I decided I did not want to re-enlist, and that I was going to go ahead and be discharged. So I was honorably discharged after the end of the 4 inactive years. So it is an 8-year contract. I got your inactive years. You're only required to show up a few times at some events, and do urine tests and stuff like that to make sure you're staying off drugs and make sure you're adapting to civilian life. Yeah, that's basically how I got out with an honorable discharge. And this is a few of the problems I'm having with keyboard and mouse, is the key binding still. So I hope you guys are able to bear with me on that. What was the worst part? Yo, Sweat, what was the worst part about your Marine Corps boot camp? There's a few things, but one of the things that really stand out to me was the first week, because I was just talking about it with my grandfather not too long ago. The very first week of the rifle range, of the shooting range, were terrible, because I had to sit there and I had to go through fundamentals and basics of Marine Corps, of rifle safety and functionality, and just marksmanship that I knew a good deal about, but we weren't shooting. And basically just going through a week of dry firing was torture for somebody who grew up shooting, who already knew what he was doing. And basically I just had to sit there and wait for everybody else to learn, or not everybody else, but a lot of people had never had weapons training or firearms training before. That was actually terrible. It really was. Like, I was so miserable that week, because it was really nothing new and exciting, and I felt like I could have skipped that part. So that it really was. It was a terrible week. And next question, let's go ahead and say you answered a question stating that you don't think the AR or M14 platform should be used. Then what weapon do you think should be used, including sidearm? Well, including a sidearm. Sidearms are different. I think sidearms could probably be a bunch of different things. I'm just personally not a fan of the M9. I am kind of a fan of some Glocks, so maybe some Glocks would be a good feature. I understand you probably need those safeties that the M9 offer. I don't know about sidearm. I really don't. I'm sorry I couldn't answer that. If I had to go with a sidearm, I'd probably say Glock 19 or 17 would probably be something I would choose. I don't think the 1911 is for everybody. Again, that's a pretty finicky platform. Even though I'm a big fan of it, I can understand that's a pretty finicky platform. I have problems with mine, and it's because of me and not being used to the platform. As far as the primary weapon, I'm interested to see something like the SCAR or the ACR become a primary weapon for the entire for all of the infantry services. I'm also interested in some of the Bullpup designs, like the TAR-21, the Tavor 21. I'm interested in actually purchasing one of those and seeing for myself, because I do like the idea. I don't like the idea of a Bullpup and the round going off right next to your head, in that action. But I do. You can't deny the fact that it's a much shorter design, and it enables you to have a close quarters weapon in addition to a long range weapon, because you're still keeping the length of the barrel, but you're reducing the overall length of the weapon. So maybe a bullpup design. Let's see where they go with that. But also the versatility of the ACR is something that I'm really interested in, being able to convert calibers and stuff like that. So I would have to choose ACR based on a weapons platform that's already developed and it's being tested. So next question, a little bit not really on that same topic, but were you in high school ROTC, which was JROTC, I was, and what branch? And I was in the Marine Corps JROTC program, and it's a program that was I grew up knowing the colonel in charge of that, who was a lieutenant colonel. Who was in charge of that, and that was a big factor in me actually joining it. He always kind of recruited me to it, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed my time there. I ended up being the battalion commander, the highest ranking recruit, or not recruit, the highest ranking member. I forget what they call those. Man, it's going to come to me sooner or later. But yes, I was the battalion commander, was the highest ranking student in the program by the time I was a senior. I was really proud of that, really happy about that, and it did end up helping me in the Marine Corps. You do get a promotion in boot camp if they choose to allow you, or if they feel like you've earned it or can keep it. So yeah, I did get a promotion with that. I was in high school ROTC. Loved my time into it. Sweat, what was your favorite moment during your military career? Favorite particular moment? I'm not gonna lie, I to this day can't forget the looks and the emotions and expressions of my family's face after I came home for a year and a half in Japan, and just when the people around, the people also in the airport who also had family coming in, and who just saw what my parents and my family were seeing. They saw that I had just come back, whatever. And they saw the emotion from my family, and they, strangers were thanking me for my service and stuff like that. It was a really, really powerful moment, something I'm not going to forget anytime soon. Certainly, I haven't to this point. That's probably my favorite moment during my military career. Probably not what you guys were thinking, but definitely something that stands out to me more than anything else, honestly. But next is, hey, IXI Sweat, did you have any ROTC lieutenants over you? I heard they get a lot of shit. I'm considering going into ROTC and wanted your input. Keep up the great work. Appreciate it. This is not high school JROTC. He's talking about ROTC in college. And when you do ROTC in college, once you complete it, you're obligated to do your time in the actual as an officer in the military. And no, I did not. And I don't know about the getting a lot of shit. All officers get a lot of shit from enlisted, unless you're warrant officer or you're former enlisted. And that goes along lines of somebody asked, do I think they should be enlisted or officer? If you have an opportunity to be an officer, you get paid a lot more. And I think if you consider the challenges of being enlisted, then I think if you have the opportunity to go officer, you go officer, honestly. Now, you will get a lot more respect from enlisted for being enlisted before officer. But in the end, if you prove yourself, if you're proved that you're able to be an officer, I would say pick the officer, honestly. All right, we've got one more question. What's the difference between a company, a platoon, and squad? And they miss fire team. And I say you miss fire team because fire team is the basis around all of the formations, and fire teams are what squads are composed of. So you start off with a 4-man fire team. You got 4-man fire team, and then you get 3 4-man fire teams, and you form a squad. And you can maybe there's 12 people in a squad, or you have 13 if you have a squad leader. And then you get 3 or 4 squads that form a platoon. And then, of course, you have a platoon leader, and then you have your squad leaders. So normally it's 4 squads. All right, and then you get your 3 or 4 platoons, and you join or you form a company, and that's a formation of fire teams and squads and then platoons, and then you have a company formation. Then you have companies that form battalions. So that's the difference. The difference is the number of Marines, and this is a Marine Corps case. There could be separate formations or different numbers for the other services, but in the Marine Corps, what is the difference between a company, platoon, and squad? It starts off with a 4-man fire team. 3 4-man fire teams form a squad. 4 squads form a platoon. And I guess 4 platoons form a company. Of course, companies then form battalions. So there you go. That is the difference in the formation. So guys, I appreciate your support on these videos. I appreciate your questions for these videos. Keep them coming. I really do enjoy Military Monday, and I'm starting to get a little bit better at it, I think. So I hope you guys are continuing to enjoy it. If you do enjoy it, I encourage you to please hit that like button down below, because it certainly does help the series, and I really appreciate your support. Videos you may have missed, the video on the left is Sergeant Merrill and I discussing last week's Military Monday, and the question that was asked was, should I join the military? and we break that down as best as we can. The video on the right is my Battlefield 3 upload from this morning, a pretty good clip at the beginning and a pretty funny clip at the end, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. Thank you guys for watching. If you want to ask questions for Military Monday, do it in the comments below, or you can do it on Facebook or Twitter. You find those links in the description down below, but do it closer to Monday if you want your question features, because sometimes I get in a rush and I can't go back that far. So thank you guys for watching. Have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.